It's Tuesday, the 7th of April 2020, and that can mean one thing, and one thing only, that it's time for today's The Quiz with me. It's your host, it's Edward C. Lewis! Hello, how are you doing, everybody? Good to see you, and good to see you, of course, WNL. We're joined as ever for the daily quiz by the one and only Walter Neil Lewis, my dad, the dad with the best dad. He's the number one dad, voted number one dad by me for 31 years. There was that one year where you weren't number one dad. I don't know what I'm saying. How are you today?
Pretty good, yes. I'm looking forward to this afternoon. Yeah. Not just to the quiz. The quiz is, of course, the highlight of the day. But at 2 something or other on BBC, there's one of my all-time favorite films is on.
What's that?
It's an Alec Guinness film called The Man in the White Suit.
Oh, I should check that one out. Now, Osric's noticed that I've gone a little mad as well. Jacket in a hoodie, Ed, says Osric, 42, looking at my jacket-hoodie combination. Yeah, I'm aware it's awful. But I wanted to put the jacket back on because this is the presenter's jacket. And it's a little cooler in here today because I turned all the heating off for the first time. So I have to wear the jacket-hoodie combo, and I look like I'm from the film Dogma. I don't know if you remember the film Dogma. But that's the look I'm going for right now, like a trendy, sort of cool dude jacket-hoodie combo, dude. Lol, Ed rocking it. Thanks, man. Commander Benko says, best dad is voted by Ed and the chatters. You got best dad from the chatters too. That's really nice. Commander Banco says, was it when pants are required, or what did I forget when shopping? I'm not sure what that's in relation to, but I enjoyed the sentences together. More like E.T., says 6 to 42. Yes, I did look a little bit like E.T. then for a second. I noticed it myself. Thank you for pointing it out. Dogma, great film. You can't get it on Google Play or on Amazon Play. That's a real shame. And this is the weird thing I have to say about on-demand services. And actually how choice is being further taken away with the illusion of choice. But we shan't get into that lecture today. That's on my TED Talk that comes up next week. But today, we're going to do a quiz. So, I think that we tarry no is that right? Tarry no further?
Tarry no further. That's quite an interesting construction. I like it. Tarry no further.
Tarry no further. We tarry no further, and we get on with the quiz today. Well, why don't you tell people in the chat? Well, okay, let's wait a couple more minutes while people sort of get in, take their seats, get their quiz hats on, get into the right mindset for the quiz. People aren't ready to start answering questions until at least 10 minutes past the hour, of course. Gav Chap's in the chat as well. Hey Ed, how's things going? And I did just notice one last thing as well, and that is that Big Fun Art's here, Commander Nexus is here, Gav Chap is here, Ben Kai, Ali, Ian, Stix 42, Osric 42, all of the best ones are here, but Oliver Best One, he's not arrived yet, and I'm kind of a little bit Terry. Yeah, who's this Terry no further? Terry no further. Oliver Best One. But before we begin, to fill this 5 minutes at least, I think it's time for story time with Walter.
Oh, yesterday's story, but today, is that it?
That's right.
Well, it was only, of course, yesterday that you talked about an altercation with the police that was all in the best possible taste, sort of thing, but ended up with, of course, well, anyway, it happened to me about 48 years ago, so I think it's well and truly beyond, any sort of jurisdiction of the police.
No one can arrest you for this one.
To cut a long story short, TPing. Those of you who are Americans out there, and if there are some of you out there, in the late 60s, early 70s, TPing was all the rage around Halloween. And TP, of course, is short for toilet paper. Now, of course, in today's wild and crazy times, we wouldn't want to waste toilet paper. But we put it to a different sort of use. The idea was you would go out and take apart someone's house, another person from your class at school, and just sort of totally, TP it and destroy it in a variety of ways. Well, we had a guy, and he shall remain nameless. And to cut a long story short, he was just someone who irritated just about everybody, and had done something wrong to just about everybody in my class. And there were about 8 or 9 of us who decided that we were going to get him back. So what we did was we said, okay, look, we actually were arrogant enough to tell him tonight at about 9:42, we're going to be at your house and we're going to TP your house. And there's nothing you can do about it. Well, of course, he got his one friend, who shall also remain nameless. They loaded up their BB guns, got ready for us, and we had planned our attack. We came in from all directions onto his house, everyone wearing masks, and everyone with a specific job to do in 30 seconds or less. You couldn't take any longer than 30 seconds, and then you went back out in the same directions. So, by the time they sort of cobbled together their defenses, we would be there, have done our bit, and gone. One person, of course, was in charge of toilet paper. Toilet paper, you throw it up into the trees and comes back downstream, cut it off. Do that several times. Wind, rain, it stays up there probably for at least weeks, if not months, and reminds them of the fateful night. You can also cocoon a car. You get one person on one side, one person on the other, throw the toilet paper over, and you wrap the entire car.
Roll it under, throw it over, roll it under, throw it over.
All those sort of things. What's his name? Who actually... in Berlin, he did up the state building or whatever in the 1980s or 90s. We had him beat. We used to do houses as well. One person on one side of the house, one person on the other, back and forth and back and forth, and into the bushes and around the bushes. One person was in charge of block paraffin. You used block paraffin as opposed to soap to actually write slogans on the windows, because soap would just wash off. Block paraffin, you had to virtually take a razor blade to scrape it off.
That's actually awful. That one.
Do not ever emulate this. Anyway, and so everybody was in charge of something. Oh, someone had ketchup, a bottle of ketchup, to go over all of the door handles and the car handles. So you just don't see it, and the next day when you grab a hold of it, well, it's there, and you have.
Don't try this at home, kids.
Not try these at home.
Me, it
didn't
is
tell
a
you.
miracle that I worked out as well as I did. I had my fair share of little pranky moments and stuff, but
anyway, I've got to finish the story. We all descended at exactly the right time. He was ready. His friend was ready. Somebody else had some eggs in his pocket, just in case we needed to sort of throw them at windows or whatever. Well, we all did our deeds, and we got in there, and he came running out, and his friend came running out, and they were running around chasing. But, you did these things all within 30 seconds and then got away. What we hadn't actually planned for was the fact that he had, prior to this, warned the police that we were going to be there at 9:42 or 9:47 or whatever time it was. And we were all going back, and we were meeting at a friend's house, Jim Funderburg, I think. Anyway.
Jim Funderburg. He's
Funderburg. Funderburg, F-U-N, fun.
Funderburg, even sillier.
And we were on our way back to his house, and we were all in ones and twos. And a friend and I were just walking along the street, and I had a long top coat on because I'd been on toilet paper detail, and I had a roll of paper, toilet paper under each arm inside of my coat, still that I hadn't used. And I'm just walking along like this, and all of a sudden, a unmarked police car slams on its brakes on the road and right in front of us. Two guys hop out, plainclothes policemen, showing their badges, saying, "Freeze! Hold it right there!"
Oh my gosh!
We froze and we held it right there.
How old were you again?
17. 17. Yeah.
Old enough to know. Enough to know.
Seniors in high school. Anyway, at that point, had he said, arms in the air, toilet paper would have streamed down the street in both directions. But he didn't. He just looked us up and down, took about, at least 30 seconds as we had taken on this house. And then he said, "Nice job." And hey, he'd appreciated our artwork. He'd been to the house. So we said, "Thank you." And that was it.
Really?
We knew that we'd been rumbled. So they took all of our names and addresses and things, and they said, "It has to be cleaned up tomorrow morning. You guys have to do it. If you don't do it, then it becomes a matter for the police. Your parents will be called and blah, 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 blah."
Yeah.
I'm sure they'd been to about 15 or 20 houses already that night, because it always happened around that time of year in Troy, Ohio.
Troy, Ohio, everybody. Ohio. There you go. Stories from Troy, Ohio.
We went back the next morning. We cleaned it all up. We did it in silence. We came back from where we'd gone, and we tried to do it within 30 seconds and then get out there. It didn't quite work like that.
Are you pleading forgiveness? Is this like a sort of Radio 2 confessions style show now? Because I did mine yesterday, and I plead forgiveness from those two poor girls who were in the back corner crying and giggling and laughing. Do you? What was the guy's name of the guy's house that you TP'd?
Mike Ida Miller. Yeah.
Mike Ida Miller. We're sorry, Mike Ida Miller. We're sorry.
Yeah. Well, but we were even more sorry in the springtime. One person had been in charge of fertilizer, and what no one remembered, yes, was the fact that, of course, this was a late, crisp autumn day, of course, in October, and nothing happens really as far as growing is concerned until springtime hits. And come March, April, when the grass started growing again on the front lawn, it all came up one color, with the exception of where one of our best calligraphers from Troy High School had written a few words to commemorate the evening.
No.
And that came up in a bright, dark green that no matter how many times you mowed it, it stayed.
What were those words?
We shan't go there.
We have to go there.
Yeah.
We have to go there. That's amazing. You have to tell me what it is, I'm afraid.
No. Perhaps in private I'll write it down, yes. Yeah.
All right. Well,
but,
it's too rude for this live stream, I understand. All right, so what are we doing here today? Thank you very much for the. It was really fun. Very much appreciated. Round of applause for Walter's storytelling. We'll go more. We'll fast forward a few years and go into your university years at a later point where you were hanging out of windows, swinging bin bags full of water, whilst dangling from a 5th-story window, while someone held you by a belt. And then you walked down the wall, effectively, and then, using your momentum, threw a bin bag full of water into your neighbours, downstairs neighbours. I'm spoiling the story, but you can tell it better. You basically, you are actually a menace to society.
We created a monsoon in someone's room, yes.
You're a menace to society. But let's do the quiz.
All he had to do was rotate the handle and close the windows.
But he didn't do it.
Instead, when the bag would come in and then come out, it hadn't broken, and then he would lean out and raise his fist at me and then see that the bag was coming in again, and he'd get out of the way and it would come back in again. And that happened 3 or 4 times where he was just trying to sort of, shake his fist at me when he could have closed the window in the interim period. And then someone on the ground shouted, "Move over a foot." And I moved over a foot with my body as I was swinging, and it hit the stanchion in the middle of the window, and as I say, there was a monsoon in his room.
A nice man, WNL. We're all changing our opinion of you. This was, like you say, 40 plus years ago, so I think you can be forgiven slightly. But right now, though, there's only one way to redeem yourself, and that is to do an excellent quiz. What's the rules?
A quiz. And today's quiz is all about pointed things, okay? And to be honest, there are lots of pointed things in this world, so it's quite an eclectic mix of different questions today.
Great.
All of them referring to something pointed or the word point or pointing in it. So keep your mind open as you answer the questions. Again, chatters, remember that I'll be able to see your answers. Ed won't, okay? And I'll take your first 3 answers, and, well, if we have consensus, that's your answer. If we don't have consensus, it'll be the first one that you gave me. Okay? No cheating, no Googling, no anything like that. Basically going into your head. That's what you've got to do.
No thatting.
No thatting, yes. Yeah. And come up with the answer. Give me that answer. Then I'll ask Edward for his. We'll compare and, yes, watch the scores go up.
Wonderful. And thank you very much for your excellent summation. Oh, sorry, 1 second. I just had to clear my throat there a little. This coffee is getting to me. All right, I'm going to minimise the chat now. Good luck, chat. Have a great time. Don't cheat. And just, well, I don't even really care what you do today. Just enjoy yourself. Just enjoy yourself.
Okay.
Smile.
You can no longer see them?
Smile. I can no longer see them now.
Question number one. This knife or dagger with a long, slender blade, primarily intended as a stabbing weapon, gave its name to a high-heeled shoe. This knife or dagger with a long, slender blade, primarily intended as a stabbing weapon, gave its name to a high-heeled shoe. I have their answer.
Stiletto.
It is the stiletto heel, yes. And quite a horrible offensive weapon, yes. Well, you both got it correct, so it is 1 apiece after 1 question.
Let's just call it ladies and gentlemen friends. That was one I used to say. Oh, the good old days.
Question number two. Number
Yeah.
two. I'd like to know which television quiz show host would often ask contestants, "What do points make?" with a certain answer, prizes. TV quiz show host often asks contestants, "What do points make?" with a certain answer, of course, prizes.
UK host, I believe. Hopefully their answers are already in and I'm not spoiling.
I have their answers.
It is Bruce Forsyth, I think.
It is actually absolutely Bruce Forsyth. Yes, they have three different ones: Jim Bowen, Bruce Forsyth, and Regis. Regis Philbin, I think they were referring to. It means that, well, no consensus there, and the first one was Jim Bowen, so you're actually ahead, Edward.
No, that's not Bruce Forsyth. That's the other guy, Parkinson. He's not the same man. Welcome, WNL.
2-1.
Okay.
Enjoy it, Edward. 100%, well, more so. Question number 3, then. Question number 3 in today's quiz, all about pointed things. Number 3. This supersonic aeroplane made its last commercial flight in 2003. This supersonic aeroplane made its last commercial flight in 2003.
Got it.
And I have their answer.
And the tanks are rolling through Kirkham again, I can hear.
Yes. Yeah.
The Concorde.
The Concorde is absolutely correct. Yes. Wonderful pointy nose that, sort of down and aerodynamically fantastic. Lots of noise, pollution, and all those sort of things. Everything that you would attribute to a normal commercial flying plane.
Yeah, well, why did they cancel the Concordes? I'm sure someone in the chat will know this, but I'm not familiar with why they had to stop doing it. Was it just they weren't fit for use? They were too expensive to use, or...?
Combination of things, and I think, they'll let us know.
The chat will, yeah. I thought you
As
meant
Alien
Concorde.
says,
Concorde on the phone. Hello?
As Alien says, that there were 2 crashes, so
I'm still
things like
calling
that.
it Alien, by the way.
Crashes, pollution, I don't know. It was a French-English production, as well. Don't know, yeah, we're good. Money, they say. Too expensive, running costs, things like that.
Yeah, money, yeah. Standard.
Here we go.
Right, next question. Also,
3 points to 2. It is question number 4.
Mm-hmm.
Listen carefully. This word can mean to irritate someone, or it could be something essential in sewing, or even something a Christmas tree might shed. This word can mean to irritate someone, or it could be something essential in sewing, or even something that a Christmas tree might shed. I have their answer.
a needle?
Is that a question or an answer?
Needle.
Needle is absolutely correct. Yes, it sheds its needle.
Just thought it might have been a trick question.
Try to sew without a needle, and it is rather difficult, yes. Okay.
All right. I'm doing well. I feel good about this. Did you make this round especially easy for me? To make me feel good?
Especially easy. Hey, the chatters have already missed one.
I don't know how they did that. I don't know how they did that.
Question number 5. In this classic 1991 film, Keanu Reeves plays FBI agent Johnny Utah, who infiltrates a group of surfers involved in a number of bank robberies.
Keanu Reeves has played, I think, 10... He's been in more than 10 films as a character called John. Did you know that?
No, I didn't.
Yeah. John Wick 1, 2, and 3. This film, which is, of course, Point Break. Point Break.
Well done.
He was John Constantine in the film Constantine.
That's right.
He was... That's all I've got from the top of my head, but that's already 6.
That's not bad.
That's right, 1, 2, 3. Yeah, that's already 6 films. I think he might be John in Speed as well.
Okay, in 10 words or less, what do you think of him as an actor?
I think he's actually... I think he's marked himself out a niche, and there was a point when he was almost a joke, like a kind of seen as a wooden performer. And I actually think that he's then gone through that and pushed through to the other side of it now, where actually he's a very competent... He does what he does very well, And actually holds himself very well on screen, I think, especially in action films these days. John Wick 1, 2, and 3 are actually just great pieces of choreographed entertainment, and he does what he needs to be done in it really well. Anyway, this isn't a review of the John Wick movies live stream, but I like him. That wasn't 10 words or less, was it? 10 words or less. I actually like him. Think he's underrated.
Slightly over the 10. Can I say that I enjoyed very much the Matrix?
Yes,
but,
he's so good.
I taught that to communication studies students for something like 7 years running, and I've seen it about 20 times. But yeah, I enjoyed most of what I saw of him in that.
It's actually not true. He's not amazing in it. He's fine in it, but he does the role well. Anyway, I'm sorry to go into ramblings about movies. Ed's movie podcast.
Question number 6.
Really
okay, at the halfway stage, you hold a slender lead, 5 points to 4. This is question number 6. Number 6. Okay, listen carefully. It's a bit of a multiple guess. The flags of all 50 U.S. states surround the base of this 555-foot tall pointed building in the U.S. Capitol. Is it the Lincoln Memorial, the Washington Monument, or the Jefferson Memorial? The flags of all 50 states surround the base of this 555-foot tall pointed building in the U.S. Capitol. Is it the Lincoln Memorial, the Washington Monument, or the Jefferson Memorial?
If we were watching Slumdog Millionaire, which we're definitely not, this would then cut back to me being in Washington just this December, just gone, running around trying to find a statue of George Washington. And unfortunately, all these videos have gone because I filmed them just for one person, and I would just send them all to this one person. For me, it was for Barrett, and I was just running around trying to find a statue of George Washington, and any statue I was filming, I'd go, Washington? And then I'd run over to it and go, oh, because it was never George Washington. And did you know that actually they don't have any George Washington statues in Washington?
Well, I've not been there since I was 6 years old.
They have no George Washington statues there, but they do have the Washington Monument.
Lincoln Memorial, there's a beautiful, huge
and it does
outside
look
statue of
amazing.
But
I did it. I ran up the stairs and I went, Washington, George Washington, George Washington, George Washington. And then I zoom in on the name and because it says Abraham Lincoln. But yes, it was funny. It was you have to be there moment. I'm really sorry that I relayed that to everybody. But all I'm telling you is it's the Washington Monument.
It is the Washington Monument, and the chatters have got it as well. Washington Monument. It is, when I was 6 years old, I walked to the top with my father and your namesake, your Uncle Edward. And we went all the way to the top. It took us quite a while, but I remember almost every step because I was only 6 years old.
It was pouring down with rain when I went, and I bought a US flag umbrella, which I accidentally left behind in the hotel.
Accidentally, yes. Yeah. Oh, you've still got a suit here at my house, you know.
I am accidentally leaving things everywhere. It's just in case I find my way back to that place that I can be like, no, I deliberately left this suit here so I can wear it. I deliberately left this umbrella here so I can pick it up.
Okay, you've maintained your 1 point lead. It's on to question number 7. Number 7, 1 and 3, okay? Name any one of the 3 swords used in competitive fencing, please. Name any one of the 3 swords used in competitive fencing. So if I get any one in the first 3 with the chat stream, that'll be fine.
That's a hard question.
I have their answer.
I actually don't. I think that this is going to annoy me actually because I'll be like, oh, I didn't realize that those swords were names. I'm gonna try. I don't know how to pronounce this. I'm sorry. Rapier. Rapier. I'm not good.
Rapier. Yeah, rapier is quite good. But it is a type. But no, we wanted the saber, the épée, or the foil.
The foil. I should have got foil because of Olympics. I've seen the Olympics and they talk about foil. I wouldn't have got that. Saber is a saber. I always imagine a saber is more of a sort of chunky thing.
And you have to wear a patch over one eye and be a pirate.
Yeah. And a big saber. You know, like almost like I imagine one of those sort of curled blades, like a machete type thing. Oh well, you learn something new every day. Did they get the question right?
They did. In fact, they had consensus on the first 3 and had the épée. They went for the épée.
Oh, the Hey.
Okay, so it's all tied up.
Well, that's good.
Point piece.
And we're going to keep it because I want to have the first ever tiebreaker. That's what I want to do right now. The first of this particular series of quizzes.
I have a tiebreak question ready in case, just in case. Okay, question number 8 then. Listen carefully. According to the Oxford English Dictionary, this is a long pin of wood or metal for inserting through meat or other food to hold or bind it while cooking. Dictionary definition. Oxford.
Yeah. Yes.
OED. A long pin of wood or metal for inserting through meat or other food to hold or bind it while cooking. I have an answer.
Almost poetry, the way that you sort of read poetry sometimes. It nearly sounded that. Can you... no.
Well, for me, this does have overtones of poetry. I have their answer, but it has overtones of poetry for me.
I know it does because it's a kebab. This is what it is. And I know that you love a kebab. A skewer.
A skewer, yes. And kebabs, yeah. Yeah, and... Well, sorry,
We talked about kebabs already, I think, even this week, so we can't carry on talking about
I'm salivating, though, just thinking about it. Okay,
I am too, actually. I'm very hungry all of a sudden.
7 points apiece out of 8. Doing very well. 2 questions left.
Great.
You know, for someone to trounce the other or, a tie or a close run thing. Question number 9, next to last today. This is the nickname for American film director Shelton Jackson Lee, who directed Malcolm X, Summer of Sam, and Do the Right Thing. A nickname for the American film director Shelton Jackson Lee, who directed Malcolm X, Summer of Sam, and Do the Right Thing. I have their answer.
They know it. Oh, no, I don't know this one. Unless I do and I just don't remember. I can't recall it.
Remember, the round is called Pointed Things.
Yes, it's like either something sharp or...
Shelton Jackson Lee. What's his nickname?
Shelton Jackson Lee. Sharp Shelton. Point...
I like that. It's quite...
Shelton Jackson Lee. Is there anything... No, I'm afraid I can't do this. I can't remember. In the top... Do I do it? So do I know this from your knowledge of me?
You know this.
Oh, well, give me a second then.
Well, you should know this.
Yeah.
You do know this.
Spike
is correct. You got there.
Spike Lee. Yeah. Gosh, how did I not? Of course, I knew Spike Lee. And if you would have said his most recent film, Black Klansman, as well, did you say that?
No, I didn't. I purposely didn't say
Spike
that.
Lee,
Yeah.
Spike Lee.
Yeah.
Of course, I wasn't. Yeah. Yes, I got it though. I got
Chatters,
it.
Chatters, I do apologize. He got there in the end. It is 8 points to 8, poised, going into our final question today.
Of course, Spike's not his real name. I always just assumed that Spike was his real name.
Well, I mean,
I've got a friend called Spike.
Remember, Spike was the name of the dog.
Yeah.
I enjoyed those.
What was the cartoon again?
Are you ready for the last question?
Yeah, go on.
Chatters, are you ready for the last question?
Yeah, move on.
Okay, here we go. Last question. Now listen carefully. And again, I want your responses. No Googles or anything like that. Just what you think it is. Write it down, and then we'll ask Edward. On the 32-point Mariner's compass, what point is directly opposite west-southwest?
All right.
On the 32-point Mariner's compass, what point is directly opposite west-southwest? They're thinking. A pause in the stream. Yeah, Alien is scared to answer.
Yeah.
Here we go. I have their answer.
West-southwest. So west-southwest is...
West-southwest.
Bam. There, right? Here's the compass. There's north. West-southwest is, and this is mirrored reverse, so... Yeah, west-southwest. So the opposite, you'd think, would be east-northeast. Yeah.
Well done. Why make it hard?
Yeah.
Absolutely correct.
Yeah.
One of the easiest questions, I thought, in the entire quiz.
Yeah.
They paused and they got it.
So we're matching.
Have a tie. It's a draw. 9
Time.
points apiece.
Well done, everybody. I like it when we are together. Well done. I'm happy with us getting a draw. But just for fun, let's do a tiebreaker because it is fun.
Just for the fun, for the tiebreak. Okay, here we go. Again, no looking these up.
Well done, everyone. Good answering.
Back in 1984, we're talking about pointed things, of course. They changed the official javelin. So there was a world record for throwing a javelin before 1984,
right,
and there's a new world record now for the modified javelin that they have to use. I would like to know what the record was in 1984 before they changed everything.
Whose answer are you going to accept? They need to nominate somebody as their answer giver.
Yeah. Oh, let's see. Who do we want as an answer giver? Osric42 says drum roll. We've got Commander Ben Kai.
It's up to them.
It's up to them. Okay, nominate, folks. Come on, nominate. Not me.
Well, you can discuss it. It's just who's going to be giving the final answer is the question.
Yeah, this is it. So you can discuss things, but ultimately, let's have.
I
okay.
can't see who's
Mace.
there.
Mace volunteered himself.
Mace DK, great stuff. Thanks, Mace.
So we'll have Mace take, but you can discuss this, but no checking out here. Before 1984, up to 1984 when they changed it, what is or was the world record for throwing the javelin in meters?
Oof.
So we'll give you a minute to discuss.
Is this going over or like leading up to and going under? I'm gonna write it down, obviously. So then
you write down yours. Yeah.
Yeah. So you can't.
Alien has nominated you to give them the answer.
Meters. Javelin meters.
Javelin. And we're going with the old because, to be honest, I didn't check the new very carefully. It might have changed in the last year.
All right. I think this might be too much, but are you ready? You got their answer?
Mace DK, is you all nominated Mace DK, and Mace DK has given me an answer. Okay.
So, what's the actual answer?
What's the actual answer?
Yeah.
I want to hold it up but backwards.
No, Go on. You read it and then I'll reveal it.
Nothing up my sleeve. No hidden trapdoors.
No. It's there. It's here. Just don't know. Go on.
Okay. In 1984, the record was 104.80 meters.
Look at this. I went for.
Let's see what it is.
The first one I went for was 94. Then I scratched. That would have been great. And then I scratched out and went for 112.
112. 112 isn't bad. 104. Their official answer stayed below, so closest to it without going over. If you both went over, then it would be the closest to it. But either way, you lose. They had 92.3.
Ooh, so I would have got it at 94. My other one was 94, so I would have got it
94. At 94. Had you not had the temerity to change, you would have won the tiebreak. I would have
got with my gut feeling.
As it was. Well done, chatters.
Well done, the chatters. I'm going to bring them back up so I can see you all again. See you lovely, beautiful people. Hello, how are you? Good to see you. Well done, everyone. Well done, Mace. Yeah, congratulations. And yeah, well done, Mace. Nice one, Mace. Well done, Ed. Thank you, Alien. And yeah, hey, Horny. How are you? Good to see you. Right. So I think that's it for today. Today's quiz. Thank you all so much, everybody, for joining. As always, we will be back tomorrow at the same time. That is midday with a quiz all about, well, please put your suggestions in the chat. Unless WNL, if you got one from a previous suggestions at all. Osric says, well done, Ed. That was a great quiz today. And well done for volunteering yourself, Mace. Oh, that's very sweet. Thank you to both of you wonderful people. It's very sweet as well. Red books.
Red books. Books that you've read or read as in...
Just books that are the colour red?
We could do the colour red.
I could do the colour red. Any other suggestions? The Wild West. Famous ships.
I like these. I'll work on these, yes.
WNL, why did they make the change? What do you mean? Edelweiss says, WNL, why did they make the change? Well, that's to the previous question.
Yeah. It was something about... almost with every sport, they start figuring out ways in which you can actually utilize materials and everything to sort of go well and truly beyond anything. And they standardized at that point. Before then, I think they hadn't really had standardized ways of ensuring. It's like golf balls and all that. The number of dimples on. Oh, there's another good question, and all sorts of things like that. But what it boils down to is they standardized, and with the new one, I think the record is 98.48 meters, I think it currently stands.
Getting too close to the people sitting in the crowd, literally.
Probably, yeah.
Yeah. Large amounts of flat landings, so they move the center of gravity forward. Okay. So we have some suggestions. Macy K's suggestion is to do with desk lamps. And I would say that we could say desk lamps is the quiz tomorrow, because Mace DK did nominate themselves. I feel like it would be a nice little treat. I don't know. What do you think?
Desk lamps might be a touch. How about if I just went for lighting in general?
Maybe we could go for lighting in general. Sounds interesting. He actually said desk lambs.
Desk lambs,
which I don't know what that is. I don't think that is anything at all. I don't know. I'll stay quiet now, says Mace DK. No, it's okay. Yeah, I just said desk lamps. I don't know what they are. Yeah, they might be on the light side, says Horny. We're not topping that one, everyone. That's it. We're done. We're done, everyone. All right.
Light and lighting.
Light and lighting. That's it. We've got a quiz on tomorrow on light and lighting. And look, if you go and complain about that, don't. It'll be fun. You know it will be. It'll be good times. All right. Well, thank you again, WNL, and thank you everybody in the
always
in the
a pleasure.
Chat. You're absolutely lovely as always. So please do remember that you are the best ones, and thank you for coming. And also that this screen coming up, it might say starting soon on it, but I still haven't updated the graphics. So just don't be too confused about the stream thing, because it's not starting soon; it's actually ending. So don't try not to be confused by that. Sorry, I will sort it out eventually. Honest, probably. Thank you. Bye.